Hey everyone, this is Nick Despotidis here in Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining me today for another episode. We're going to be discussing multi-units. That includes duplexes, triplexes, and quadplexes, the four, when selling. So what do you have to do? You have this great big asset. Should I sell? And when I do make that decision, what do I have to line up? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So make sure you join me and watch the whole time. Like and subscribe. Now, what about the value of my house, my multi-unit, Nick? What do you look at? Well, first we look at comps, what has sold in the area. Also vacant units, how many units are vacant, and that'll be easier for the new buyer to either develop it or rent it on his own for top dollar. So more than likely, if you have a tenant in there now, they're paying below market and it's gonna be valued less. So the more tenants you have in there, it's harder to sell. So vacancy is a thing. You want it vacant and you want it repaired to get top dollar. And if you can't do that, then it's a big decision to sit down with each tenant. So with a property I'm selling in DC, you sit down with all the tenants, see if they're willing to vacate. Is it worth $10,000, $20,000 to pay them to go find another place so you have a vacant unit so your value goes up? In most situations, it's yes. If you can negotiate the tenant, then it's worth it. And we're doing that in both situations to try to get it vacant so we get a higher offer price. You also want to do rental comps. How much would this rent out for? That would directly impact the value of the sale. So if you're selling a house for $500,000 and the total rent coming in is $2,000, that's not enough to cover the mortgage of $3,300. But if you're getting rent $3,000 each or $2,600 each, like I mentioned before, that's more than covering the rent, and therefore you could ask for a higher price than $500. Maybe you'd ask for $600. So rent value has a huge part in the value of a multi-unit. Now with timeline, you want to make sure that you're timing this properly, that it's vacant, but you're also holding the cost, right? So I understand there's a balance between getting it vacant and having it occupied because you need to sell it. You also need to understand that there's a 1031 exchange component if you don't want to get taxed on the gains. So that's going to be a huge factor in making sure that we roll this over to another investment and your 200 or 300 grand equity is going somewhere else. Repairs. It is worth it to make small repairs and even do an inspection prior to make sure that you mitigate any issues prior, because it's going to give the buyer the leverage to negotiate against it or even cancel the property. So if you're in DC selling a multi-unit, I highly recommend doing repairs to your rental before selling. And that's what we're doing. We're doing touch-up work, 15 grand to 20 grand to make it look nicer, more attractive online, right? Because that's our job. You're the landlord, I'm the marketer. I'm gonna market it best when it looks really nice online. And that's what we did. We put 15,000 in, painted, didn't even sand the floors, just cleaned the floors, renovated the bathroom, put some mulch down, some smart investments that in the end will pay because it's bringing more people in the door. We're getting 5 to 6 showings a week and 10 to 20 showings during the weekend through open house. So it is working. Marketing does matter and having it vacant does matter. One unit is vacant, but the other tenant is moving out. So we did everything on our court and now we have an offer. So that's it. That is a 7-step process that I took you through if you're considering selling. Highly recommend sitting myself down with you and your partners to discuss what are your options, what are the timelines to get you top dollar and into your next investment. So that's it for today. Make sure you tune in for other episodes by subscribing here, and I look forward to seeing you then.